know, the rules of radio still apply.
Of course.
You know, if you send a radio station a hell of a nice press kit and your beautiful headshots and your great resume and this, that, and the next thing, and you look like a whole bag of chiclets, they, of course, you know, well, okay, we'll put you on, you know, we'll promote your thing, we'll do this, that, and the next thing. And they'll go and they'll set up the show, and then that person will actually call in and, you know, they talk like Urkel.
Yeah, or they freeze, like if they get stage fright, or it's like the jacket of the book sounded really good,
right?
And then the meat was just
content was nothing. Yeah,
you know, they do realize that one of the hosts is a writer, right?
Well, maybe not, maybe not.
So they come on and it's just you know.
Well, you know, and here's the other thing too that's kind of important to note, and further sets the bar apart from us to everybody else is that. We're not just radio hosts,
right?
You know, like you say, you're a writer. You write for TV. You write for film. You've done this for years. You've actually gone to 4 years of freaking school for it.
Right. And there's design background, so I do the life and style and the whole home thing, and you know, now I have all that. Well, that's always been, and then there's the charitable functions that we do. So it's so funny. We've had a couple guests we had a couple. Guests that were on the show that we later found out were, in fact, kind of wanted for embezzlement and things like that after coming on proponing to be like this big philanthropic
charity cause. Yeah.
Right. And I, Taylor Family Trust, I co-chair that. And, that's a non-fundraising entity, but people still want to be attached to it because of obviously the network opportunities and, the fact that we do introduce, that's what we do. We hook charities up with other charities around the world and organizations with other organizations. That's what we do at the Taylor Family Trust. Mm-hmm. So, we've had guests, do whatever they could to get on and become a part of that because they know that once you're a guest on our show, it's, it's not the 20 minutes and you're out and we never talk to you again. You're a part of the HTLA family for life and we continuously promote your stuff and whatever your new stuff is, we'll make sure to get out there too and do that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So people want in on that.
Well, sure. I mean, the last radio's interviews I ever did in bricks and mortar, I got 3 minutes.
Right.
And that was promoting a feature film.
Right.
So.
Well, that's another thing that sets Straight Talk apart. The entire show is dedicated to that one topic and that one guest. Mm-hmm. And only our opening segment is us. And we bring the guest on after the first break, and they stay with us to the end.
That's right.
And, a lot of our guests were very surprised and grateful at that opportunity, too. Mm-hmm. It makes them feel more like, people and compadres and colleagues and things. And it's not just, oh, well, you're starting this movie, so here, tell us about the movie and who made your dress. And, okay, thanks for stopping by.
Right.
We know the names of their children. We know their anniversary date. We know... how they propose to their significant other. We know, we become, part and parcel of that period of time in their life and they ours.
Well, and some of the other things that I've heard from past guests in conversations after the shows, whether it be an email or on Skype or however, I've heard more than once that not only did they feel comfortable on our shows, but they also really felt like they could be themselves. They weren't
right.
Everybody when you get out of the shower and throw on your clothes in the morning and you step outside your door and head off to work or wherever you go, you've got that front there. You've got that exterior public persona that you put out. Well, with any kind of celebrities, it's that magnified probably 10 times.
Right.
So. And the greater the level of celebrity, the more well known the people are, the greater the travesty that TMZ will, call you the Antichrist if you slip just one little iota. I mean, the pressure is exceedingly difficult to live with on a minute to minute basis.
Right, and well, we know we've had our share of it. I mean, just go back to the stalking episodes. We've had our crazy fans and our crazy episodes and things, where we had to endure too. Not even on the level of that, but
well, now don't get us wrong. Don't get us wrong, folks. We didn't have stalking episodes. No, we didn't actually.
We did episodes on stalking. Yeah, sorry.
We didn't actually have our stalkers on the radio.
That's right. No. Well, actually. At one time we did, unbeknownst to us.
Okay, never mind.
But yeah, but that is very true. It's not about their celebrity, it's about them as people, and the same goes with the others. A lot of with the authors that we had on.
Sure.
It's about the topical things that they wrote. But perfect example, Rodney King.
Absolutely.
We were among his very, very last interviews before his death.
Yeah.
And we had a hell of a good time with Rodney. It wasn't about his drug use. It wasn't about the incident. It was about the man.
Yeah.
Where'd he get to be when that occurred, and what kind of man is he now?
Absolutely.
That kind of thing. And
absolutely, yeah.
I can't even remember what the topic of the show was, but yeah, we were greatly saddened. It was only a week or two after our interview that he passed away.
Yep. Yep.
So, very, very true.
Yep.
Same thing with Big Marv, our good buddy Big Marv, who we're actually going to have on this season because he's got a new show coming out too, and he just messaged me not long ago, and he's going to be back on. I
did see that, yeah.
Right, but it wasn't about his stint on his cousin's famous show. It's about him, and we spoke mostly about his charity work with children.
Well, and I've always found him a lot more likable than his cousin.
Well, true enough, but then again, we haven't really interviewed everybody in the show.
Oh,
so.
Okay, all right, fair enough, yeah.
But we've had our hystericals, and we've had our faux pas and our funnies and things like that. And
well, I gotta bring it up because it was pretty much my all-time favorite special horrible episode, which was our disaster episode.
Oh, the disaster episode. That ties into what I was going to go into next, and you can tell him, is about trying to run, a media empire from a home studio.
Right.
So that was right.
Family gets in the way.
OMG. And just, the whole building issues get in the way, and but go ahead. Yes, that was hysterical.
Well, the disaster episode wasn't intending to be a disaster episode. It was actually an episode of Straight Talk.
Right.
And it was back when we were over doing broadcasts through Blog Talk Radio. And we had everything set up and ready to go. And we had a guest that was supposed to call in that night. And, all our T's dotted, all our I's crossed. We're ready to roll at, no kidding, 2 minutes to airtime.
Right.
And Kate's off in her other booth. She can't see me.
No, I can't hear you. Can't see you, right?
And, well, you could hear me because before all hell broke loose, I had you in.
Oh, okay.
So we were just waiting that 2-minute countdown to start the show up, and yours truly, yes, good old Crash decides now is a good time to spill 2 liters of pop.
Oh, that's right.
All over the control room. Now, if you had a camera on me at the time, you would have peed yourself laughing because I was such this spaz. This thing comes over down on my keyboard. And in my jerky spaz to try and save it from spraying, it flips up in the air, spinning pop all over the place, and then lands facing the other way on the desk, dumping. And I literally saw it, glug, 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 pour over and right into the computer. So Kate's rolling now. She can't hear me, but she thinks she's on the air, so she starts off the show.
That's right.
And I'm sitting here, I'm screaming down to Gia, give me some towels, give me, I'm running in the bathroom and I'm grabbing towels. I'm trying to save everything. The computer's fried. There's smoke coming out of it.
No.
She comes upstairs. She's laughing her butt off, and okay, so bad enough, but whatever. I'm like, okay, well, damage control. Kate's still going on her end somehow, I think. So if I can just get all my stuff straightened out here, I can get back up and get back into it and continue on,
right.
ever trying to be the professional.
That's right.
Well,
and I'm trying to do now, the commercial segment came, and I'm like, okay, and we'll be right back after this break, and nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, where is he? And I don't know if I should, run out of my booth and get to the control room, which was upstairs in the loft at the time. Not even in, we built a studio now that's all inclusive, that our offices and studio and everything is here. Mm-hmm. But I'm now I don't know what to do.
No.
Because he's not talking back to me, and there's silence, and I muted my mic, thankfully, so my listeners couldn't hear. And I'm hoping with all my hope that he's hit the button to make the commercials roll. And I don't know. And then I don't hear anything in my ears. So I know the commercials are like 2 minutes and 7 seconds or whatever it is. Yeah. So I go back on and I start trying to roll, and well, go on then. It's your baby. Go on.
Well, we're going to break for another quick commercial here, but when we come back, I'll tell you how that whole episode ended up getting on the air. Be right back, gang.
The Chevy Cruze offers an EPA estimated 36 mpg highway. That's crazy.
Crazy efficient.
10 standard airbags.
And you get StabiliTrak with traction control.
That is like crazy protection. This interior is...
insane.
It is insane. I was going to say crazy again.
Visit your local Chevy dealer today. Right now, get this great lease on a 2013 Chevy Cruze LS for around $149 a month.
Fourth down, Coach. What do we do?
I'll tell you what we do. I want you to go on the field, look for anything with an O. Let's kill them with kindness. Jimmy, I want you to make balloon animals. Tyler, make little tea cozies, something fun.
Are you okay?
We will win this for Mother Russia!
Coach, eat a Snickers.
Why is that, Chief?
You get a little loopy when you're hungry. Better.
Now let's go for it!
Go get him, guys!
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
When you have cable and your picture freezes, you get irritable. When you get irritable, your work suffers. When your work suffers, the wrong man is convicted. When the wrong man is convicted, he has time to think. When he has time to think, he thinks about you a lot. And when he thinks about you a lot, your house explodes. Don't have your house explode. Get rid of cable and upgrade to DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Hey, look at that new Toyota.
Look at that new Toyota.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Civic, you better look at this new Toyota Corolla. Now, you can get a 2013 Corolla with 0% financing. Or lease this Corolla LE for just $179 a month.
Look at that new Toyota.
Toyota, let's go places.
HTLA Radio One.
And we're back, gang, and sorry about that little error in the commercial segment there. I accidentally hit a button and, well, almost had another disaster show. So you are listening to HTLA Radio 1 New York. Currently, we are just coming back into our third segment now. And before the break, I was actually talking about our disaster episode and the events that led up to what is now our famous clip. I think that 18-minute clip actually has more downloads than I think anything else.
That is so funny.
It
Indeed, it was Leslie Nielsen.
It is. So, yeah, where was I? I got to the point where I was trying to clean everything
hysterical.
up.
Glug,
She is
glug,
hysterical.
glug. Right.
I'm watching the pop pour into the computer. So luckily I had another couple of computers that were up and fine and running on the other side of my workstation there. So I managed to get the show back up and get back in. But then, of course, because I had left the interface, I couldn't sync back up with you. I was in another interface, but it was another show.
Oh, and I was panicking. Oh, my goodness.
So she's totally boned at this point.
I am. And I'm trying to carry it. And I'm just like, okay. And I started talking to the listeners and telling them, like, what was going on, that I couldn't hear the control room.
And then, it was great. Actually, it was masterful how you handled that whole thing, because it was kind of like the zombie apocalypse had happened.
That's what it felt like. Yeah.
You didn't know it.
I didn't.
The chat room was gone. You couldn't, talk to anybody in the chat room because I was down. I was in another interface, so I'm typing away and trying to get a hold of you, and I can't.
Right. The Skype was down. Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. And yeah, it was a long story short. At the very end of the clip, before her recording actually did stop, all you can hear, and this is the exciting climax of the whole bloody thing, because it just worked out perfectly with you and what you were doing.
Right.
I had actually asked Gia to go into your booth and kind of give you a little bit of a sit rep when she could, quietly kind of
right.
thing. And kind of get you up to speed so that, if you were still going,